you can explain the model a little bit, and then we'll try to focus on my one and then see something that we can work. Rijul, you are muted.
Yeah, just hang on a second. I'm trying to open the link.
Okay.
Yeah, so right. So if you could, I posted the link on Slack. So if you could,
And
so if
explain
you,
the model a little bit, and then we'll try to focus on my
sure,
one.
sure. So the basic difference between my model and the ones that others have suggested before is that first of all, I'm trying to make it into a private reputation system.
Yeah.
Uh,
Open the.
So by what I mean by that is that the ratings would be anonymous, and the reputation would not be sort of publicly available on the profiles of the workers or the requesters. So the problem that addresses is the issue of people begging for higher star ratings and also inflation. So since there are no ratings on their profiles, it would to some extent avoid the issue. Also, other than that, what I've done is I've tried to incorporate the papers that we had studied uh, in week 10, I believe, using the opinion mining techniques and other sentiment analysis algorithms and also other ML techniques that were discussed into creating one reputation score. Uh, so, for example, if you take a worker A, if you can open the diagram, for a given worker A, uh, a reputation score would be created for one particular task that the worker is trying to do. So, for example, if he is trying to create a website, the reputation score might vary from if he had been creating, say, a logo or doing a data mining task. So he'd have one reputation score, which would be matched to corresponding reputation scores of the requesters, and a list would show up to the to worker A, showing the available tasks that are available for him. So how the list would be ordered is as follows. Of course there would be workers there would be requesters that the worker had worked with previously. So they would show up higher than requesters that the worker has not worked with. So for example, let's say there is a requester X1, and so first of all, there would be ordering on the basis of reputation scores. So so requesters who have the same reputation score as the worker would be at the top, and further ordered down by the star ratings that the worker had given them. So if you could have a look at requester X1 who had previously worked with worker A, and requester X2, uh, they're they're on the top A because they have a reputation score which matches with the with worker A, and and they've been ordered in terms of X1 having the first spot because X1 had been given an average rating of 5 stars and X2 had been given 4.5 stars. So these are the stars that the worker had given the requesters. So this was an idea I believe James had brought up during one of the brainstorm sessions uh, in terms of having two layers of ordering. Also, if we move down, we could see that requesters which the worker has not worked with lie at the 2.5 star level. So this is in a way to incorporate the idea that we cannot have new requesters being given a 0 star rating because we need for them to have a place to start. Again, and also that, for instance, a poor requester which had worked with the worker, the worker would not want to work with that requester again. So, which is why a requester with a rating below 2.5 stars would be placed before below people who the worker has not worked with before. So this is the basic gist of how the ranking would be done, and also in a way incorporating the cascading task release. So for what would happen is that uh, in terms of the reputation score, uh, uh, yeah. So in terms of the reputation score, the tasks would be available to different workers at different speeds. So if you're at the same reputation score, you'll probably receive the task before someone who's at a lower reputation score. So again, this is incorporating Michael's idea. So yeah, basically what I've done is I've tried to combine every single idea into one.
Yeah, I understood. That has really valid points. And now, in this model, default they get 2.5 even newbies, right?
I'm sorry, I can't hear you.
The newbies get the 2 point value, right? 2.5 value.
That's right. That's right.
Okay.
The newbies as well as requesters, the worker has not worked with before. So yes, so I'm thinking if we can in some way incorporate the average reputation ratings that have been allocated by other workers as well into this, so that I understand there's a problem in which newbies as well as requesters who have not worked with workers are at the same level. So maybe we could change that a little bit.
Yes, I think Adam and Michael's one, they are talking about the average rating
Too.
be taken as at any given time when you take a worker. The rating is the average rating by your, taking all the works that he has done and average it to one uh, point. But and uh, and let me try to explain my model because I have only 30 minutes. Uh,
Okay.
the one that I thought, um, we will we will consider user rating and also the system rating. I call it system rating because we take system behaviors as well. We don't rely on what users are only giving as a rating for us because sometimes it will lead to inflation. For example, as you said, somebody can ask me, please rate me high. So if we take only user rating, that problem will come again so that we take the system rating. So what is this system rating? Is a combination of a, a score that we give to one worker. For example, let's say you describe a worker. Uh, when a worker as a new one, he opens up this demo and then have a profile picture and have skills and then write his description, write his description, and then other than that, a few other categories as well. So by default, system will give him a rate starting from 3, and then user rating also by default starting from 3.
Okay.
So we take a multiplication of this one at every time to rank any worker so that it will, if you can see the document, the reputation system document uh, that we are still developing has the characteristic of the system scale to 10 scale. I'm trying to figure out yet what are the other inputs that we can take. For example, as Riju said, now when a worker uh, when a worker is working to a highest rank requester, that system ranking will get a little bit higher because just like the page ranking in Google, where you get a rank from highest traffic, your page also sort of ranked up.
Yes.
That model can be implemented as one feature for the system ranking. Uh, there are other features as well, like uh, one thing is least one work done by highest reputed requester. Other one is number of currently working tasks. It could be 0 or somebody is working 1, 2, 3. So depending on the number of tasks, will be given a value. I was just thinking because at this point we need to talk with the values, right? I mean, either 0, 1, how can we rank? I mean, there should be a measurement.
Sure.
So I think I can feel that Ridgew's model also fit here somewhere, or else my idea of taking the system rank will fit over there somewhere. Still, we are not sure. Now, both models talk about how can we take the newbies into the platform, right?
Yeah.
That's the important point. Now, what are the things that we missed in our platform models?
Yes, I see. Maybe we could incentivize skill development somehow better. I think that can be improved upon. Uh, like Angela pointed out a few meetings ago.
I'm sorry, say that again. What did you say? Incentivize?
Incentivize skill development. So if someone improves, you'll have to sort of, be able to greatly improve their reputation score or their.
Okay. How do you think that we could show it in a value? Like, do we uh, give a rating, or does it systematically check it?
No, no. For instance, like you're talking about multiplying the user rating and the system rating, right? So,
Mm-hmm.
so I believe if someone has set the profile picture and provided skills and so on and so forth, that the system rating would sort of remain constant. It wouldn't change to a great degree. So
Also, I think they'd be able to engineer it a little bit better that way.
yeah, so perhaps you could change the weighting and the weightage of how for example, having a profile picture is weighted the same as the number of tasks completed. So maybe we could restructure that a little bit.
Yes, you mean not just giving 1 point, maybe lesser value, so that others get higher value?
Yeah.
Okay. Okay, that's good
Yeah,
point.
I think yeah, with that you're able to incorporate the certain skill level into it a little bit better. I like that too.
Okay, that's a good idea. So that system rating, I propose to have 10 measurements or 10 factors that we consider. Uh, so each doesn't have to have one value, let's say point values. So, and also, what are the other factors that you think should come into the system rating? They're not where we just don't evaluate only the user rate.
Well, how about a number of tasks completed compared to number of tasks never completed?
Okay, number of tasks. Ryan, can you type it in the document? I'm
Uh,
having difficulty in my hand. I can't type.
do you want me to just type that in really quick?
So we also have to look into how individually complex the tasks were. So for instance, if someone did not complete a very complex task, so should it be weighted the same as having not completed an easy task?
That's That's interesting. I would like to incorporate that, but is there any way we have a mechanism of right now in place of knowing if, like, say they have completed a part of a macro task versus a part of a micro task?
Yeah, we'd have to look into it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and also that's where I'm feel like, in this model, yes, we'll come up with the least things that we can implement in the system at this time. So that I mean, we of course we could say these are the points that we might think in the future. And the other thing that I would like to see, let's try to incorporate, let's say, 100 records and do a search thing and see whether the newbies get. No, we will have some fake values and just try to see whether our goals are, achieving. Let's say a newbie get a uh, when we search for a worker, newbies get chance or not, we can see by having a small search running, right?
Sure. I think Angela has problems with the audio. So I'll mute myself for a while. I think there are.
Yeah, I just think we should have a whoever is not talking, just mute yourself immediately. Just so that's easier.
Can you say what Angela is saying in the Slack, because I can't see? No.
She's just saying somebody has an echo, so mostly actually when you're talking, somebody's echoing it as well, so it's just hard to understand. So I'm just saying whoever is not talking, just mute yourself immediately, just to make it easier for people to hear.
Okay. Do you feel the echo when we are talking now? I'm not sure because it's clear for me.
Yeah, it sounds good there. Everyone was muted, so it works out.
Okay. Now, where were we now? We were scaling the system ratings as what are the other factors that we could think to bring to the system, right?
Right.
So,
yeah, just to kind of reiterate a point, just to kind of get us on the track again. So it looks like what we're really looking for is before there was some like very static features inside of the system setting, and I like having some of them because it kind of does incentivize it a little bit toward okay, make a good profile so people know who you are. But then after that, we kind of want something a little bit more dynamic in the system, so that way it's able to incorporate. Okay, well now that you have the baseline set up, how's it going to progress as you as a worker? And I think we're kind of accomplishing that right now by saying we've got number of tasks completed. That's great to know. Number of tasks currently working on, so it's good to know if they're a busy person doing it part-time or full-time. At least one work done for highest repetitive requester. That's kind of interesting. I like that. I think that kind of shows a good kind of just, I don't know, maybe their best work from the person who has the highest reputation. Number of tasks not completed, and we can also add skills like being assessed, tested, or certified. See, that's kind of the big question of. So my problem with having, if we were going to have like a leveling system that they can kind of work off of, that means that the system itself then would have to already know what all skills are, and we would have to make either a system that's we can add skills as we go on, or they can do it. So I'm more of kind of in a way of, if we're going to do something in a sense of like, are they going to have like skills that can be assessed, tested, or certified? We'd have to do it in a way how like maybe LinkedIn does it, or I think Odesk kind of just has a description, I guess, and how like you can just add whatever you want, and then people just kind of can build up saying, oh, okay, they did this work for me, I'm just going to give them a point for that. But I was reiterating through some of what Spam Girl's feedback was, and it sounds like if we add any extra work for anybody essentially to do that is not getting paid, then they are probably not going to do it. So I think we need to keep that in mind too.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and one other thing that I was saying, to have something as a portfolio in the profile, either you have done to somebody or not. Like for example, let's say I'm looking to get work done from Ryan. I go to Ryan's page profile. If I can see some of the work, let's say you are saying that you can do web developing, I would at least want to see. I would at least like to see a web page created by you, not for somebody, but at least you show that this is what I can do as a sample.
Right, that makes sense. I like that idea. Only thing is, once again, going back to, well, a new worker not having a portfolio. But I think since we've kind of already addressed some of that by having them at least being average, like, or they're come in with a, I don't know, 2.5 rating already, or maybe whatever the average is, just so they're not at a disadvantage, then they can gain a little bit of work that way too. So I think that's a good place we should start at, like with a portfolio of work, and then just kind of we might have to just implement it and just see how it goes for new workers.
Okay, I think can we summarize from the beginning what we thought and what we come up with the end today, so that we can take the next series tomorrow at the same time, and then come up with a graphical model where we can show these are the features that we took, and outcome of this concept will be either this value, and sort of like with the example that we can work.
Hi, so Dilrukshi, I think there's a concern which needs to be addressed. So I feel that what we're discussing at the moment might sound very good theoretically, but I'm not sure if that would work well in practice. So I think that's another area people were discussing, whether or not to go for a traditional model first and then to sort of change it to one that's more suited to our needs. So should we move into this model from the get-go, or should we sort of start with a traditional star system and then gradually shift to this?
The traditional model that you talk is the simple user rating system. Is that it?
Yes, yes.
Okay. Yeah. I think we can show it at the first graphically, yes, and also how might we integrate the other factors. Let me think. Yeah. Okay, let's get the fundamentals of the traditional system that we talked as a real working system, not just again ideas. You know what I mean, right? Now, let's say, how do we exactly measure the user ratings in a model?
So how would essentially how would a requester then rate a worker for their work? Is that what you mean?
Yes, that's exactly what I mean.
Right, because I'm also agreeing with that down here in Slack with Angela that a traditional 5-star rating system I'm not entirely convinced about too. And I'm trying to think of just mostly how other systems are doing it too. With like Turk, it's just straight up just did they accept it or not, and that kind of is a way of giving, a rating, and then just have, it could just simply just be did they like the work or not, and then just have it weighted based off of the requester's reputation.
And then yeah, okay, then not only the user rating, because we already have this rating inflation in the user ratings over it. Now, what other factors, that the behavioral factors that we can't, where a user cannot just manipulate the data, but the system will give you, here, though you say this is what we have tracked on you, so based on this, all the sort of a system functionality should also be taken into account when you're getting a rank. So we model that one too, as I still think of this system rating and the user rating, but at this stage I really want to see a conceptual model evolving, because we kind of can't go to the ideation phase again and again. Let's again try to graphically show that user rating, how are we going to take this? System rating, how are we, what the functionalities that we thought here, concrete, let's say profile, if we have a profile, what's the scale? 0.5, or as and then the skills. I think skills At this moment, we will not, I don't know for sure, but we will not be able to have it in a LinkedIn, uh, you know, we can't get the system connected to LinkedIn yet. But we say, we give the description.
Right, that makes sense. I'm into just doing something simple right away too, and then I guess kind of just so you mean just like get a drawn up with what we currently have, try to get some sort of a mock example of it working, just showing like, okay, if this person has these set of features, then they have this type of skill level, and then just having to like get a good like I guess a simulation sense of it going.
Yes, that's exactly. I think I'm getting my threshold time. So shall we meet again tomorrow at the same time? So that I'll work on the model and try to show it visually, and also Riju can any of you also can come up with that model so that we can see, we can show this is the final, the result of our meeting today, and then we can evolve that model.
Sure.
Sounds good. I can meet tomorrow and yeah.
Right, if you can't meet tomorrow, just let us know anytime. I'll be available most of the time. I guess now we'll stop this.